Hey, what's up, y'all? Pete here. It's Wednesday, June 18th. Just wanted to do a quick sort of housekeeping update. Had a few things I thought worth mentioning. Real quick, I'm going to go over 4 areas: contests, apps, groups, and PorkFest. Um, all the links to this, what I'm going to talk about, is in the description for this video. But real briefly, just want to make you aware of a page at CopBlock called Contests. You can find it if you go to the Resources tab, or you can go to copblock.org/contests. But that's where we house the previous contests that we've attempted. Some of them have resulted in a lot of good content being created, a lot of good traction. Some of them have been, I would say, lessons learned. Maybe the timeline, the time frame given wasn't big enough, or maybe the contest criteria wasn't too clear. We try to make each subsequent contest better. And currently there is one contest going on. The last one that just ended was the Pivot Head contest, which the winners of that contest, we got over 60 submissions for that. We just asked people to film their police interactions to make them more comfortable doing so. But the winner of that contest, Jason Stacy Pomales from Marion County, Florida, got a pair of these Pivot Head sunglasses that have a 1080 HD video recording device there. And so anyway, that ended a couple weeks ago, and the current contest going on was one we decided to sort of co-sponsor with Ashton Woolen. He's the most active person now with Georgia Cop Block, and he essentially he suggested an idea to try to get a bunch of folks out filming police interactions to safeguard their rights of others on July 4th. He said, it's a day there are going to be a lot of checkpoints and things like that, and that's not what the July 4th is supposed to represent. So the contest is called the Fourth Amendment of July, and to find out more about that, go to copblock.org/contests. It's the information about that's at the very bottom of the page, and you learn more about it. But Ashton took the time to contact every Cop Block, Cop Watch, Peaceful Streets, or other group that's listed on the groups page at Cop Block, over 150 of them. So much love goes to him for putting in some legwork, also writing the post. I will pull that post up here and maybe read a quick excerpt, but we're going to see how responsive my internet is here. I'm working from a place where there's also others online, so if it lags a bit, I won't do this. But right now I'm going to attempt to do a screen share just to show you a little bit about that, show you my browser here. And so right now, again, if you go to copblock.org/contests, you can find a link to this contest. And while it's loading, I guess I'll mention some other information. Ashton did a good job. He included a lot of relevant links with this. He pointed to Know Your Rights page, and like a cop blocking page, other resources like content created by other people that he thought are effective in their interactions with police and de-escalating and deterring rights violations. So again, just right now I'm scrolling down to the bottom of this page just to show you where it's at. Fourth Amendment of July nationwide event is what it's titled, and looks like right now, okay, so here we go. Again, I think this is lagging. There's a bunch of folks on here where I'm at, but if you click on the related post, there should be some more information there. And essentially, we're asking anybody, you, to go out, maybe connect with some other folks. If you're not already, go out and try to document what might be some police state-esque type activity that happens on July 4th. And then if you share that video through the Submit tab at CopBlock, again, there's a button here, copblock.org/submit. You can also use, but if your video is thought to be the best and you submit it within a week of July 4th, so by July 11th, and you'll receive $75 worth of gear from CopBlock store, which could be shirts or outreach literature, whatever you want, and free shipping. But one paragraph I just wanted to read just to kind of expand upon or point to what Ashton noted was the police checkpoints and things he says are the exact opposite of what we're supposed to be celebrating. We should not have to be stopped and treated guilty until we prove our innocence when we have committed no crime. The plan for the 4th and the rest of that weekend is to get every Cop Block, Cop Watch, or other allied groups out there to film and exercise your rights. So that's essentially, in a nutshell, what that contest is about. I just wanted to draw some attention to it. And moving on, I just wanted to point out the apps page at CopBlock. So to get to it, you can go to copblock.org/apps, APPS, or you can click on the resources page. And once that pulls up, we can click on the apps tab. And there are a lot of pages here listed on this resource page, but definitely if you have a smartphone, I would encourage you to download a streaming application, so you can just click the text that says apps or the graphic that says apps, and it'll pull up that page. But the streaming app I think is most useful these days is called Bamboozer, and if you have a smartphone, just create a free account and make sure you become familiar with its functionality on your phone before you actually have to use it. You want to make sure, I would recommend setting the resolution. There's 5 resolution settings from highest quality to lowest quality. My default is to set it to the second lowest quality, so there's still going to be some video that gets out, and you're also going to make sure the audio gets out, which is very important. If you set the quality too high and you don't have a good so again, here's Bamboozer. It says recommended by CopBlock. You can download for the Droid or the iPhone. And there's a few other streaming apps as well listed on here. But those are just a couple I'd recommend for sure. But again, I'd set the resolution to second lowest just to ensure that it gets out and it streams and it's not glitchy and you get nothing. So that's just a tip. When I'm doing outreach or cop blocking, like in busy cities, big towns, and people might stop and say, "Hey, what are you up to? What's this about?" And I usually offer them some literature and engage in conversation. And a lot of times I'll ask them if they have a smartphone, and most people do these days. But I'm surprised that maybe only a third to a half of people are familiar with streaming apps. And I think it's a very powerful tool. And I just encourage you, if you have a smartphone, to make sure you get a streaming app to protect yourself and those around you. Moving on to the third thing I want to talk about is the groups page. And a lot of people will reach out to CopBlock, give us some love, give folks involved love, and that's great. But a lot of people share content, and that's great. But even better is people who create content. People get out there and really try to influence the conversation locally and online once they document and disseminate that content. So I encourage you to go to the copblock.org/groups. There's a tab here, groups. You can see all these little icons of where groups are. So if you're up here in Canada, you can click on the map, and it will actually pull up all the known outlets for that particular. This is Ontario CopBlock, for example. You can also, Justin, you can also scroll down, and you can find any groups that might be in your arbitrary political boundary. And you'll notice that some places, such as Montana, it says no known groups. You can change that. So there's a little document that gives you suggestions. There's no set process or protocol. Pretty much just encourage you to, I would suggest getting a Gmail account so people can email you and contact you. You can also then use that to get a YouTube channel. And obviously most of these groups have Facebook pages. A lot of people are active on Facebook these days. And then YouTube channel and maybe Twitter and whatever else. Some folks have Scribd accounts where they can upload documents. And you also notice here, there's after all those states, there's some groups listed for Canada, Europe, and elsewhere. So, and again, if you don't see a group nearby, you can start a group. But I really think this is very important. It's empowering for you. You won't feel alone. If something does happen, you'll have some folks right away that can you can turn to, come to your aid, and it's really, again, it's empowering. So it enables you to not maybe have that fear or as much of that fear, not to be constrained by that fear, and just know that if you act in the right, there's going to be people who will support you, and that's essentially what CopBlock's about. We're a submission-based site, so we can look out for each other and against this institutionalized violence. But and I often reference this groups page because I'm a big fan of people connecting, and I like this tagline called "You" that says "You are the network." I really think that's true. But right now I'm gonna end this screen capture, and I'm going to or screen share, I guess they call it. But and then talk about the fourth thing, which is events. There's a couple events coming up. There's one that starts this Monday, June 23rd, and it goes for a week. It's in Lancaster, New Hampshire, called Pork Fest. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can just search PorcFest or type into your browser PORCFEST.com. PorcFest. It stands for the Porcupine Freedom Fest. The idea is like the Western Rattler on the Gadsden flags that says "Don't tread on me." That snake, it keeps to itself, but if it's provoked, it'll defend itself. And it's the same idea with the porcupine. It keeps to itself, but if it's provoked, it has the quills. It can defend itself. And so there's an event that happens every year. This is the 11th iteration of this event happening in New Hampshire, and it happens on the biggest campground in New England. There'll be over 1,500 people there, people who, if you say badges don't grant extra rights, I think most folks would say, hell yeah, I agree with that. So I really encourage you, if you're within driving distance, and even if you only make it out for a couple nights, there'll be maybe a few hundred people there at the beginning of the week. By Friday, Saturday, there'll be over 1,500 people there. So it's definitely worth a drive if you're able to make it. And it's been a life-changing experience for a lot of people I know, able to connect with some real good people from all over the globe and share ideas and learn from each other. We're going to have CopBlock's going to have a site there. We have site number 1. We'll have some CopBlock gear and outreach lit. We'll be looking forward to brainstorming. And also there will be Jacob Crawford from mccopblock.org. He and I went on tour last year with the Police Accountability Tour. And so he's good people. We're also going to have Dio Odelecki, who's active with Greater Cleveland CopBlock. He's going to be on the site as well, as is another friend from New York. And Amanda Billy Rock will be there. So we'll have a good site. Also on the site, in addition to CopBlock and We Cop Watch, will be Sons of Liberty Mint, which is Agorist Silver. If you've been to CopBlock's homepage in the past couple of weeks, you'll see a graphic on the right sidebar that says Sons of Liberty Mint is the official IT sponsor of CopBlock.org this month. Essentially how that came about was we had some need to change our servers to make it a much faster and more efficient server, and with that were some costs. And we solicited some coin. We asked folks for donations if they could help offset those costs. And we received some good support, and then Sons of Liberty Mint stepped up and became our IT sponsor for this month, June, and next month, July, which helps cover some costs as well. So essentially, Sons of Liberty Mint, they make divisible silver. The idea is, instead of just having like a big bar of silver that you can't really ever use, you can't buy like bread or anything with that, but you can have divisible silver, so an ounce piece or even a quarter-ounce piece or a tenth-ounce piece, so you can engage in interaction. So for example, if you come to PorcFest next week and you come to the CopBlock table and you have some silver, I might give you, we might be able to engage in a consensual interaction and trade, silver for whatever items that you might like. But so I'd encourage you to check that out. And we also have some pretty exciting news, collaboration with Sons of Liberty Mint. But for now, I'm just going to hint at it and not really go into details because I'm excited. But the other event I want to put on your radar happens October 9th in Ocala, Florida. So it's Central Florida, August 9th. I'm sorry. The folks from Marion County CopBlock, James and Jace, have teamed up with some other folks in and around Florida to put together a Know Your Rights Summit. It's a day long, and there'll be folks there active with CopBlock, with CopWatch, with Photographers Not a Crime, other groups, and just folks who have interest and realize that an institutional violence isn't conducive to a free community. And so anyway, August 9th, Central Florida. If you're within driving distance, if you're in Atlanta, if you're in Nashville, if you're in New Orleans, if you're in any of these towns within, even a drive, even more than that, I encourage you to make it out. And if you're not able to make it out, if you're elsewhere, I encourage you to reach out to, if you're elsewhere and you want to see something like this happen in your area, I encourage you to reach out to the folks active with Marion County CopBlock to maybe learn what they're doing and see if you could replicate it or build on it, or do whatever you think is most effective. But their email address is mccopblock@gmail.com. That stands for Marion County CopBlock@gmail.com. And but again, that information and contact information for all known groups is listed at copblock.org/groups. So that's about it for now. But I'm excited to see this CopBlock, this on-air hangout that I'm doing right now. I've been talking with some other folks involved to get them sort of up to speed on using it, and have already sort of nailed down a couple interviews that I plan to do with Cody, who's spearheading the Peacekeeper app, which is another really cool app. You can learn a little bit more about it on the apps page, copblock.org/apps. But the idea is it creates sort of like, it fosters civil society. So instead of turning to the so-claimed authorities to help maybe address a situation, maybe there's a fire, maybe there's someone at your house, or maybe some other issue. With this Peacekeeper app, the idea is that you've preset people in your sphere, whether they're your friends in town or your neighbors or whoever, and so if an emergency happens, you can hit that button, they get a notification, and then they can come to your aid. So we can start looking to each other to help solve some problems, instead of to this institution of violence that claims to be about protection. The police outfits, they say they have no duty to protect the individual. Their courts have ruled the same, and it's an injustice system that exists to protect itself. So the Peacekeeper app, I hope it's out now on the iPhone. It's coming out on the Droid within the next 2 to 4 weeks. But anyway, we'll be talking with Cody, who's involved with the Peacekeeper app, here in the near future, as well as some other folks. So I'm looking forward to that. And I guess until next time, keep your wits about you, and keep looking out for each other, and know that when there's no victim, there's no crime. Peace.